This will arguably be the most important test of Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah in the year 2024. India's richest state, Maharashtra, goes to vote on the 20th of November, and the resource-rich Jharkhand is going to vote in two phases. Now, the question is, can the trio of Rahul Gandhi, Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar revive the opposition's fortunes this Diwali in Maharashtra? Or will the dominant BJP prevail over a disunited opposition? Let's get perspective on this. And for that, journalist and political commentator Neerja Chowdhury is joining us, and a couple of other political journalists will be joining us shortly. But first, to you, Neerja, how do you think the entire political equation stacks up right now in Maharashtra? The BJP looking at scoring a Haryana with Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena, Ajit Pawar's Nationalist Congress Party. They've suffered badly in the Lok Sabha polls this year, just 17 seats compared to their rival combined 30 seats. Now the question is, can the BJP still win Maharashtra?
Well, what you're saying is absolutely right, that the Mahavikas Aghadi won 30 out of 48 Lok Sabha seats, which was a very promising show in the parliamentary elections, which gave them a head start, you thought, in the assembly elections. But from the reports one is hearing about, it looks like, if one word can describe it, it looks like a takkar. Of course, you cannot emphasize the importance of Maharashtra assembly polls enough. Not only because it has 48 Lok Sabha seats, second largest state, not only because it's a financial hub of the country, but also because what happens in Maharashtra is going to give a psychological advantage, a political advantage to either side, whoever wins. If the BJP wins and it comes after Haryana, then they will say the defeat of 2024 Lok Sabha elections, not getting a majority on their own, would be offset. That can be forgotten. They are now back in business as usual. If the Mahavikas Aghadi, the India bloc, they get Maharashtra this time, then Haryana will be forgotten. That means BJP is on the downhill, and that will affect the leadership. It will affect the coalition partners. It will affect the whole, whole business of governance. So Maharashtra is very, very important from that point of view.
It certainly is. And senior journalist Mr. Choware is joining us as well to help us take this discussion ahead. The success in Haryana for the BJP, where there was long-term incumbency, there were internal challenges, Mr. Choware, and all the odds were stacked against it. The exit polls reflected that too. But now that the exit polls have run hollow, has the BJP changed the electoral narrative for itself and devised a playbook that could work in Maharashtra, according to you?
One factor in favor of the Mahayuti, that is the BJP, the Shiv Sena led by Eknath Shinde, and the NCP led by Ajit Pawar. One factor in their favor will be that this is the first election in Maharashtra where 6 parties will be struggling for each vote. So the division of votes will determine the outcome in Maharashtra. The present situation in Haryana shows that there is not much of a difference in vote share between the BJP and the Congress party. In the Lok Sabha election also in Maharashtra, the Mahayuti and the Mahavikas Aghadi vote share was, there was a very narrow margin between the vote shares. So this time every seat, every candidate and every policy that each side adopts is going to be important. In Maharashtra at present, the main issue which is providing ammunition to the opposition is the law and order situation and the Maratha factor. How the Mahayuti combats these factors and overcomes them and makes it mark is going to be important, because in the last 2 elections, that is 2014 and 2019, the Shiv Sena BJP alliance had an upper hand. So this time, the division of votes is going to determine the fate of the parties and various candidates, and especially 2 or 3 leaders whose long-term existence in politics will be determined this time.
Yes, so a lot of it is at stake when you talk about the assembly elections of Maharashtra. Political editor of PUDHARI Newspaper, Pramod Chunchuwar, is also joining us. Mr. Chunchuwar, warm welcome. We're seeing this slew of freebies as well getting doled out by state governments, Mr. Chunchuwar. Free electricity, healthcare benefits, MSP for farmers, there's direct financial help for women. Maharashtra waiving toll for light motor vehicles. Is this becoming a battle of who gives out better sops? Or you think the electorate has started to realize that all this fiscal spending is going to muddle up budgets and they'll have to pay one way or another after election fever dies out?
Yeah, the people are not very much happy about the various swaps announced by the government, especially the Ladki Bahin scheme, which is giving 1,500 rupees per month to the eligible woman, woman beneficiaries. It is causing more than 45,000 crore budget for the Maharashtra, and various schemes, especially various swaps announced by the Maharashtra government and various schemes, and especially infrastructure schemes announced by the Maharashtra government. It is hurting the Maharashtra economy, and people are not much happy with the way the government money is being spent on these schemes, especially the women who are beneficiaries of these schemes. They also know that they are for the time being they are getting all these benefits, but ultimately it will somehow affect fortune of Maharashtra's economy, and the people are not much aligned with the Maharashtra Mahayuti government this policy about giving various swaps to the people, and the result may reflect this mood of the people in the upcoming assembly election.
It's across the political spectrum that SOPs are being offered. Neerja Chowdhury, you'd agree. On one side, of course, you have a formula of freebies and caste census and extended caste quotas. The India bloc has used these. And perhaps that has worked to some extent when you look at the parliamentary elections. But how much of a challenge have these been to the BJP's agenda of development, the Hindutva narrative, and of course its own understanding of caste politics, which has helped their cause in Haryana? Can Congress's national strategy actually work in a state like Maharashtra? Will local leaders of the Congress come around to pushing that strategy through, and could it work for them?
Look, if you look at it on the Maha Vikas Aghadi side, and Congress is part of that, will the sympathy that was there for them in the Lok Sabha elections, will it stay? The sympathy was because the parties had been broken, NCP had been broken, and Shiv Sena had been broken. So there was a ground level sentiment. Will it remain, or has it spent itself? Then, of course, the good showing they made, how much of that remains? There is also coalition unity. There was, they haven't split up, they've held together. Then, of course, there is desire for change after anti-incumbency of the BJP and Shiv Sena Eknath Shinde government. And of course, first there was Badlapur, the rape of these school children. And then there was the Shivaji statue coming down, which became a matter of Maratha pride. And now the murder of Baba Siddiqui, which has sent shock waves that it doesn't mean the return of the rule of gangs in Maharashtra, as was the case in the 90s. Therefore, what's happening to our law and order situation? On the BJP side, of course, there are all the social welfare schemes that are being rolled out, and even in the recent cabinet that was held, there were 36 decisions made. But the most potent of the social welfare scheme is the Ladli Ladki Yojana, modeled on the Ladli Behna Yojana in Madhya Pradesh, which proved to be a game changer in Madhya Pradesh, enabling the BJP to win. So that is something that is being rolled out, and money has already reached the hands of people. Then, of course, the clear leadership of Eknath Shinde as a CM candidate, which is not there on the other side. The caste consolidation, whether they'll borrow or leave from Haryana, OBCs and Dalits consolidating against the dominant Jat community. Will the same thing happen against the dominant Maratha community in Maharashtra? And the OBCs and the section of the Dalits going back to the BJP, again, it remains to be seen. And a very important factor, I would say, the RSS is back in the reckoning. The RSS worked for the BJP candidates in Haryana, which is something they had not done in Uttar Pradesh during the Lok Sabha elections. So I think these are factors, but it is going to be local factors that are going to make a difference, but the impact is going to be national.
It certainly seems so, but like you pointed out, there has been this political turmoil. The last 5 years haven't been easy if you look at Maharashtra and state politics. So on the back of which, perhaps, like Neerja Chowdhury is pointing out, Mr. Choware, there is talk of sympathy for Uddhav Thackeray, for Sharad Pawar, after the BJP allegedly wrested power in the state by cobbling together their breakaway factions from both these parties. But now, will this opposition combine be able to capitalize on that, well, the sympathy wave, this perceived sympathy wave?
Yeah, like every previous election, much will depend upon the selection of candidates. If you see local reports, already there are intense fights in almost all parties for getting the candidature. And except for the BJP, all other parties will have to be very careful, because BJP has more or less a very well-oiled election machine, and it has been working for last 2 years. So they are projecting themselves and Devendra Fadnavis as the next leader. But in the Congress also, or in the Shiv Sena also, there is very great infighting for candidature. The candidates are going to be the main issue in this election, as I pointed out earlier, and the margins of victory will be very, very short, very, very slim this time. And all other issues, like local issues, like law and order, like Maratha factor will be a major issue this time in the Marathwada region,
Yes.
if not other regions.
Yes.
And last time, the minority vote in favor of the Mahavikas Aghadi had changed the fortunes in 16 Lok Sabha constituencies. So the Mahayuti is very, very cautious this time, and they have announced government corporations for minorities,
Correct.
and women, and for smaller castes also.
Yes.
So they are not sparing any effort. And as pointed out again and again,
Yeah.
they are showering
SOPs, yes. There are several of those. But I want to pick up on that one point that you made about the local issues. And right now, Mr. Chunchuwar, I want to ask you how much law and order is a consideration for the elections in Maharashtra. Because after the brazen murder of the NCP leader Baba Siddiqui, and also after the firing of rounds at Salman Khan's home, does it put the Mahayuti on the back foot in this election?
Certainly, it has put the Mahayuti on the back foot, especially the incident mentioned by Neerja ma'am, Badlapur incident, where a girl were molested by that school employee, and later to avoid the real investigation and to nab the real culprit, which is being alleged that the school is associated with RSS functionaries. So to divert that attention of investigation, the main accused was encountered. The High Court has clearly observed that it is a fake encounter. So this is a very big issue. The way the girls are being molested. Today, the Solpet in a village in Marathwada, it is burning. The people are on the road and they are demanding justice, because the gang which has gang raped a girl there, it has eloped, and
Order is definitely, yes,
successful to arrest them.
Yes.
And secondly,
Yes.
in Mumbai especially, the way Abhishek Ghosadkar, son of former Shiv Sena leader, not former, currently.
So you're saying law and order, law and order is definitely going to be one of the key election issues this time around in Maharashtra. But also, since I'm running short of time, I want to ask Neerja Chowdhury what she makes of how the political equations are stacked up in Jharkhand. Now, the BJP and the JMM over there, they're jostling for the tribal vote, which makes up 28% of the population. So it's a huge force to reckon with. And we're talking about a state which has the highest reserves of coal and iron ore. So in your understanding, who has the edge over here, Neerja Chowdhury?
And I would say, as in Maharashtra today, Jharkhand is also a takkar, and Jharkhand has always been seen. Maharashtra was seen for a while, that the Mahavikas Aghadi was leading because of the good showing they made in Lok Sabha election. But in Jharkhand, it's always been seen very close. And of certainly, tribal versus non-tribal vote is the other where the battle lines are going to be drawn. But the JMM, the ruling group, has been in power, so does face corruption charges. And, there is fatigue also. But the key is going to lie in Jharkhand in the nuts and bolts of how the alliances are shaped, the efficacy of the alliances on both sides, the candidates, who they are. And, Hemanta Biswa Sarma, who's the election in charge on BJP's behalf, he's been, before even the announcement of elections, has been talking to the allies. He's talked to Atsu. They worked out seat sharing. He's talked to Jenta Dal U, again worked out, not yet worked out with Chirag Paswan or Jiten Manji, but they've already been doing this. So also on the other side with the JMM and Congress and the other parties. So I think how effective the alliance is going to make a very important difference. And it's very interesting, Kalpana Soren, Hemant Soren's wife, who was taking the lead when Hemant Soren was in jail. People are, clamoring for her to come because that's a fresh chehra.
Right.
At the end of 5 years in power, people want a fresh narrative. They want a fresh face. I mean, that's the way.
Are they getting at this election, Mr. Chowdhury, these fresh faces? Because at this point in time, we're still asking if Ajit Pawar's NCP is perhaps becoming a liability for the BJP. We're still asking if Mr. Fadnavis is going to continue as the Deputy Chief Minister if the BJP wins. We're talking about the same faces, about Mr. Sharad Pawar as well, and whether he's going to be the kingmaker in this election or not. How has the narrative changed according to you, Mr. Chowdhury? If at all, is it likely to change?
The narrative has changed because last 6 months, especially after the Lok Sabha elections, the ruling Mahayuti is always, you find always on the defensive. Every morning, every afternoon, the opposition begins the day with some charges of corruption or some misdemeanor, and then the ruling party, the spokesman of the ruling party, they have to defend themselves every time. What work they have done, or what Maharashtra is needing, or what Maharashtra's development is needing, is all on the back burner. No party is talking about serious issues. It is only charges and counter charges. So every time the main contenders for the election, they come on the screen, they talk about the other side. They don't talk about themselves, what they have done or what they plan to do. And this is going to be a major factor in the coming election. As far as Mr. Sharad Pawar is concerned, he is the most experienced person in Indian politics today, active since 1967, and he knows how to change the direction, which he has shown in the Lok Sabha. So this time, the Mahayuti will have to be extremely careful for selecting their candidates, because even today, there have been defections to Sharad Pawar's side. So that is going to be another main factor in the election.
Right. Fair enough. And a quick word from you, Neerja Chowdhury, about the bypoll in Wayanad. The stage had been set for Rahul Gandhi. As far as the Lok Sabha elections, it turned out well for him. Now, what do you expect to be the outcome of the bypoll in Wayanad?
I think Priyanka Gandhi Vadra stands a very good chance there.
Right. And the reason being that the Congress has played its card well when it came to its planning around the Lok Sabha elections and waiting till the very last to announce Rahul Gandhi.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, yes, Rahul Gandhi, and then it was expected that he will stay in UP and give up Wayanad. Yet Wayanad is very important for the Congress. It's been a bastion of the Congress for a long, long time. And I think it was decided that Priyanka Gandhi will come into politics, into electoral politics. And as I say, she stands a very good chance for there.
Wait and watch, but the Laying of the groundwork has been done, and now we'll see how the political parties stack up against each other. Like each of you is pointing out, this is going to be a test of the faces of these elections, how candidates are presented and how the entire caste debate, what we've seen as far as Haryana is concerned, how that actually works for the BJP or not when it comes to the state of Maharashtra or the tribal vote in Jharkhand. All of that is going to be at play, and we'll be watching very closely. Thanks very much, Neerja Chowdhury, Pramod Chunchuwar and Dilip Chaware for joining us on this discussion on India Tonight. We take a very quick break now. On the other side,
there comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.